it's Dr. Denny over at Four Paws at Fulshire Veterinary Clinic, and today Ashley and I are going to be chatting a little bit about cats and microchipping. So she's going to get us started off with some questions, and hopefully this gets you guys any information that you might be wondering.
Dr. Denny, what does it mean to microchip your cat?
So microchipping is a tiny little microchip. So it's a little, it's like a little cylinder. It almost looks like about the size of a grain of rice. And we give that and we inject it underneath the skin, usually between the shoulder blades. And it can be scanned with a microchip reader or scanner, and then it'll pick up like where your cat is registered. And it's a good way of, if your cat gets out and gets found, that they can get back to you.
And why do veterinarians recommend cat microchipping?
So I think it's really important because some cats, especially our indoor-outdoor kitty cats, sometimes they can wander. Cats like to roam. And when they're roaming, sometimes they make bad kitty life choices and they could get stuck, they could get lost, especially if like a freak storm pops up, or maybe they've never been outside. Maybe they decide that they're gonna broaden their horizons and they go out in the backyard and then they climb a fence, and the next thing they know, they don't know where they're at. This actually happened to one of my technician's cats. She was gone for 4 days. So and she was microchipped, but nobody could catch her. But if she had been caught and brought to a veterinary clinic, the veterinarian clinic would have been able to scan her and would have been able to call the owner, and then the cat would be reunited with their family. So that's why it's so important, because cats do get outside.
Is microchipping dangerous or painful for my cat?
So it is a little bit of a larger needle. Am I gonna say that it's painless? If the patient's under anesthesia, which personally that's when I like to give it because it is a larger needle, but they are very sharp. So it is a quick pinch and then it's over. We do this on patients when they're awake and they tolerate it just fine. I like to do it under anesthesia, but me personally, if you know me, and if you are a client of mine, I'm deathly afraid of needles, so I know irony is very real here. But I prefer to do it while they're asleep, but there is a little pinch when you give it, but then it's over. Like, it's very quick.
How is a cat microchip used to identify my cat?
So the microchips are registered online, okay? And depending on what company you use, we're actually able, by using the number that goes up on the scanner, we're actually able to type that number into like a worldwide database, and it's all kind of collected. And based on like the first 3 numbers, we know what company, and then we're able to reach out to the company, give the number, get the cat's information, their name, owner name, phone number, address, etc. And then we're able to reach out. Well, actually, I think the company actually is usually the ones that reach out to the owners, and then they give them our information, and then they call us, and we're able to reunite the pet with their owner.
Why does my cat need a microchip if they already have a collar with a tag?
So collars come off, and if you have a cat, and this is a little aside, but if you do have a cat, you need to have a quick release collar because they can get stuck on things, and if it's not a quick release collar, they can strangle themselves. But biggest point here is that the collars come off, they break, they tear, it's not 100%. If a microchip's embedded underneath the skin goes with the cat, so wherever the cat goes, the skin goes, and the microchip goes with it. So it's always there.
Will my cat's microchip be able to tell my cat's location?
So not yet. I'm sure it's coming, because if you are looking at Apple AirTag and like people find their luggage and they're like, oh, it's lost, and they're like, no, it's not, there it is in the airport. I'm sure the technology is coming, but as of right now, we don't have the capability, but I'm sure in the future it will be. And that would be, if you want to invent that, you will be a millionaire, because that is fabulous. And I would be the first in line, because my husband's dog got lost one time and it was a whole big thing. She's microchipped, but she's a runner. So, I definitely think that's super important.
Who can scan my cat's microchip information?
So most veterinary clinics, I think probably all veterinary clinics will have microchip scanners. Animal control does as well. Sometimes they're rescues, like if you are in a neighborhood and you find a pet and you post on your Facebook page, there are some rescue people that will actually have scanners where they can just scan them. Animal control will. I think that animal shelters as well. And sometimes boarding places will too. That's kind of hit or miss, so you can definitely call beforehand before coming up.
And when will a cat microchip be scanned?
So it's going to be scanned when your cat's brought in. So that's pretty much the first thing that we're going to do when an animal's been found. So for instance, just today we had a little bitty Chihuahua that was picked up off the road, and he had lots of feelings and was a little chompy, but we scanned him for a microchip. That was the first thing we did. Came in a blanket, and the first thing our receptionist or our customer service representative came back, grabbed the scanner, and went and scanned for a chip. Unfortunately, this baby didn't have a chip, so reuniting him is going to be a little more difficult. We're going to use the power of social media, hopefully, to reunite this little baby with his owner, but it's the first thing that we do.
And what if I forget or lose my cat's microchip information?
So call your veterinarian, because I have all of my patients in my system and they have their microchips in there. So if you forget your number, that's not a problem. You can call wherever it was done, and as long as they have your name, something to identify the pet, first name, last name, etc., they're going to be able to tell you the number. The other thing you can do is, if you know the company that makes the microchip, you can call them, give them your information, and they will be able to give you the number.
And then last question, what is the difference between a GPS and an RFID device?
That's a really interesting question. So GPS is going to tell you the exact location, and I believe the other one is going to be more like in generalities. So it's like the difference of like on Google Maps, if you're this far off looking at houses versus right on the sidewalk. So it's the difference as to like distance. So I hope this helped answer some questions. If you do have additional questions on why you should microchip your cat, or if you would like to get an appointment scheduled to get your cat microchip, please give us a call. Thanks so much, guys.